I'm just asking if there's any decency or heart or courage on that side of the aisle. The fact that a woman was killed, she was shot in her head, and y'all are pretending like nothing happened. I remember when Charlie Kirk got killed. Do you remember what our response was? Our response wasn't to sit there and pretend like it was okay. Is it okay because you have a badge?
You know, one thing about this country, it's always got a way of pointing fingers instead of looking in the mirror. So earlier this week, Congress held a full committee hearing about what went down with ICE and Renee Good. And if you paid attention, you already know how it played out. Republicans came in hot, blaming Democrats for not de-escalating things, like that's the whole story. No talk about accountability, no talk about how we got here in the first place. And when you listen closely, it's deeper than just politics. It's about how systems keep protecting themselves, even when real lives are lost or forever changed. This moment matters, not just because of what happened, but because of what it says about leadership, power, and how quick folks are to dodge responsibility when it's not their people being impacted. Before we get too deep, I want y'all to hear from Representative Jared Moskowitz. Look, whether you agree with him or not, the man came with receipts. He wasn't trying to sugarcoat nothing. He broke down the facts, and he called out the hypocrisy, loud and clear. While some folks up there kept trying to act like only one side is responsible for escalation, he reminded everybody of the violence we've already seen. Assassination attempts, anti-Semitic attacks, straight-up domestic terrorism, and how some of the same people pointing fingers now were silent or even encouraging the chaos when it was politically convenient. He also made a point that stuck with me. You can't talk about de-escalation if you're out here rewriting history or fanning the flames every time you log on to Twitter.
Oh, I just want to go back to a previous statement by one of our colleagues, Governor Biggs. He said that Democrats have not tried to de-escalate the situation. You know, after the brutal murder of Charlie Kirk, which was domestic terrorism, okay, we tried to de-escalate. After the assassination attempt against the president, which was domestic terrorism, I was appointed to the task force to investigate that assassination attempt. We tried to de-escalate. After the anti-Semitic attack in Colorado, in which you put forward a resolution that included language about ICE's favorable role in that. 75 Democrats voted for that resolution, even though there was no reason to put that in there, but you did it to try to put us on the board. So this idea that that Democrats have said nothing, that we haven't tried to de-escalate, it's just not true. It's just not true. Now, it's not like you guys have any credibility on de-escalation. I mean, literally, we're not the ones who told tens of thousands of people to show up to the Capitol and run in here like a mob, and now you all tell people it never happened. You know, like, oh, that's not what the deal was. It's not like every day there isn't some sort of tweet that just escalates and escalates and escalates. And so, listen, I hope one day we could have a hearing on de-escalation. I would love to participate in a hearing on how we together de-escalate. But looking at one party and saying, you don't de-escalate, I mean, that's literally escalation. We can't have a serious dialogue on how we do bring down the temperature together. You know, I want to, we heard about this domestic terrorism thing, right? Domestic terrorism. That was the first thing we heard. I have a question. This is the person who within minutes of the shooting, went on TV and called it domestic terrorism. What, is she hiding her face like her ICE agents now? She can't show her face either? By the way, is this what the $800 billion went to? Every day we see her after there's some new tragedy in Homeland, she's wearing a different outfit with a different hat. I mean, come on, guys, she looks ridiculous. She's not just an embarrassment to the country. She's an embarrassment to you and the president. Okay, she deserves to be removed from her job by the president, and if not impeached, not just for her complete failures in Homeland, but her destruction of FEMA. She's not even running the department. You guys know this. You guys know she's not running Homeland. Your governors and you all, when you need your FEMA money, you don't call Noam, you call Corey. You know she's not running the place. She's a complete and utter embarrassment. By the way, every Homeland Secretary has come in front of this committee once a Congress. I'd like to know the date she's coming. When is she coming?
When is she coming? When is she coming?
When is she coming? By the way, do you know Pam Bondi has not come in front of this committee? Do you know she's the only secretary to not appear in front of a committee yet? When is she coming? What's the date on the calendar that she's coming? You know what? Let's make it easy. I want to make a motion to subpoena Pam Bondi.
Second.
To this committee.
Third, fourth, fifth.
How much are we going to...
The gentleman is not recognized for that motion. However, the chair will advise as to the Attorney General coming for, as they do routinely.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. But where is the Attorney General, the only secretary to not appear, okay, in front of a committee? The only one. We're into year 2 of this Congress, and we've not had the Attorney General in front of this committee. How much are we going to weaken Article 1 of the Constitution while you guys remain in power? I watch you twist yourself into pretzels trying to defend this, running away from previous statements, disagreeing with yourself, trying to defend the crap that's happening. And so I'll make a motion again to subpoena Pam Bondi in front of this committee.
Second.
Yes, third, fourth, fifth.
The chair will again admonish that the gentleman is not recognized for purpose of the motion. The chair will also inform all of us that the Attorney General had agreed to come and was going to be here in October. Unfortunately, we had a shutdown. However, this committee is in the process of scheduling a return. If there is not a shutdown later in January, I fully expect that she will be here.
Will she be here before or after we invade Greenland?
Well before, I would guess.
Okay.
And the gentleman yields back. The gentleman from California seeks recognition. For what purpose?
To strike the last word.
The gentleman is recognized for 5 minutes for that purpose.
This is the glove compartment of Renee Good. 37-year-old mom, 3 kids. She wasn't a terrorist. She wasn't a criminal. She was a mom. There's no weapon in that glove compartment. There's no knife, no gun, no explosive. There's stuffed animals. Any one of us with young kids knows what that glove compartment looks like. It's a distraction device. It's a bribery tool. It's a way to keep your kids calm when they're acting out in the car. She had a baby to go home to. A 6-year-old who is now orphaned, who lost his father just 2 years ago. So you want to defend this? You want to defend the murder of this mom? You want to root on and cheer for her being shot in the face 3 times? Unfortunately, this is where we have been heading from the start. It was just a matter of time. When you hire masked thugs, of course, it's going to get increasingly horrible. We started with ICE agents chasing people through the fields and the factories where they work, deporting U.S. kids with stage 4 cancer, pulling peaceful people out of their homes and cars by their hair, and now shooting a mother and telling us, just like you told us on January 6th, Don't believe your eyes when you see the video. Is this going to get worse? Of course it will. Bodies are piling up. Will Renee Good be the last mom murdered by ICE? We literally now have masked murderers roaming our streets. But we're not helpless. And if my Republican colleagues are going to do nothing right now, you better believe that accountability is coming. Here's what it looks like. The masks are coming off. Identification is coming out. Immunity is going to be stripped. And to Kristi Noem, Tom Cashbag Homan, and Greg Bovino, your asses are going to be in these witness chairs. The job we have on this committee is to keep Trump out of our streets, out of our homes, and out of our lives. No policy matters to anyone on this committee if you can't protect your people. So people like Renee Good, an American citizen, a mom, doesn't get shot 3 times in the face. So she can go home to her 6-year-old child. And so we can go back to the country I know we are.
Now, right before the moment y'all about to see, Representative Jared Moskowitz actually tried to subpoena Pam Bondi. Yeah, that Pam Bondi. And let's be real, Republicans are never going to let that happen. Accountability? Please. But then came Representative Jasmine Crockett. Listen, this right here is when the mood shifted, and I mean shifted. She didn't just speak, she laid it all out. She spoke from a place of pain, of truth, and of just being fed up. She said what a lot of us have been thinking. How are y'all sitting up in here like nothing happened? A woman was killed, shot in the head, and somehow that's not even enough to move hearts in the room? She called out the fake outrage. She called out the silence. And when they tried to check her for dropping an F-bomb, she flipped it right back on them, because if the language offends you more than the violence does, then you've already told on yourself. This is someone standing up saying, enough is enough, and asking the same questions so many of us are asking, where is the humanity? So I want y'all to pay attention, not just to what she says, but how she says it, because sometimes the truth doesn't come out quiet.
Gentlelady is recognized.
Thank you so much. It is so hard to sit here sometimes because I didn't come to Congress to write laws or to do things that are hurting people. I'm just asking if there's any decency or heart or courage on that side of the aisle. The fact that a woman was killed, she was shot in her head, and y'all are pretending like nothing happened. I remember when Charlie Kirk got killed. Do you remember what our response was? Our response wasn't to sit there and pretend like it was okay. Is it okay because you have a badge? Because the last time I checked, allegedly no one is above the law. Can y'all not just have a little bit of courage and humanity? A child. A child has lost her mom. And y'all want to pretend that it is okay. I am asking if there is anyone that will stand for the very people that elected us and sent us to Congress. You tell us things like, well, the immigrants are bad. And so we got to get all these bills because the immigrants are the ones that are causing the harm. They're bringing the crime. The mayor of Minneapolis told y'all to get the fuck out. Yet y'all are the ones, it is this administration that is bringing crime to their streets. That's what's happening.
It's the third incident where somebody has dropped an F-bomb in this committee, including the video.
I'm sorry.
Including the video that we had to watch earlier.
Are your princess ears okay?
Is it? profanity.
Well,
of-
but
the
you're
committee-
more
Princess Ears
upset
is
about my
representative.
words
The
than
committee-
you are about the fact that a woman
Are you
is
soft?
House of
dead.
Representatives.
The gentlelady
Are we
will
offending your
suspend
princess ears? Are they that soft?
All members
Well,
will
maybe some of the
suspend.
kids out there.
Mr. Chairman, it is the
You're
gentlelady's
killing
time.
them.
Kids.
It is the gentlelady's time. Let's let her have her
Wait,
time.
It is the gentlelady's time. Would you stop the clock for a moment? Okay, and
That was the quote.
I'll restore that. The chair will remind all members that the person controlling the time is not to be unreasonably interrupted. We would further admonish that whenever possible to express the full meaning of something, it be done so without an expletive that may be offensive to people here in the audience or those who watch this on television. I understand that a quote at times is essential, but I would admonish everyone that it has been the practice of this committee for the many years I've been here to use such things as F-bomb in order to get the message out without actually using the word. Notwithstanding that, the gentlelady will be recognized for this time plus an additional 20 seconds. The gentlelady may continue.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Long story short, we are sitting in judiciary and no one on that side of the aisle seems to care that this particular person, whose name we don't know at this point, became the judge, jury, and executioner. I don't know how you square that. And then we're sitting here literally in markup for a bail funds bill. When I first ran for office, it was in the midst of yet another lynching by law enforcement in Minneapolis. At that time, it was George Floyd. I remember working as a pro bono criminal defense attorney to help protesters that were being arrested. There were more than 600 protesters that were arrested in Dallas. There were churches that came together to make sure that there were bail funds. There were nonprofit organizations. And to explain how it works for bail, since we're in judiciary and we're writing the laws, and some people may not understand this, but those bail funds, those nonprofit organizations are not the ones that determine whether or not somebody gets bail. What they do is they help out poor people, which I know y'all are not interested in either. But they help out people that aren't rich and famous and have limitless amounts of money, like all of the Epstein defendants who somehow y'all can't find, even though y'all went and got Maduro. But it helps out those people to be able to get out of jail. Many of those people that if they spend just a couple of days in jail will then be thrust into straight up poverty because they will lose everything. Why it is that you want to criminalize people such as churches that are trying to help the poor because they understand what the Bible says, and they don't just say that they understand it or say that they love Jesus, but they decide that they actually put it into works because faith without works is dead. That is wrong too. And I'm here to tell you that there's going to be a lot of nonprofit organizations that are going to step up in this moment because there are going to be protests around this entire country because of the state-sanctioned execution that we all saw unfold, unless there is some kind of justice that takes place and we get the name of that officer and that officer is prosecuted. So I ask that law enforcement, we have oversight over them. I am the oversight ranker. Let's go ahead. In fact, I make a motion that we have a hearing in the oversight subcommittee as it relates to this particular issue and what took place.